Dear friend of Wajyaga community, how are you? This is the time reserved for you. We would like to help and to support those people who need to perform the interview. Let us today focus for some questions which are more questionable or askable during the interview. The first one is, what are your strengths? The second one, what are your weaknesses? The following, what are you interested in working? The following one, what do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years? Then, why do you want to leave your current company? Next, why was there a gap in your employment between this date and this one? The following, what can you offer us that someone else can not? The following, what are 3 things your former manager would like you to improve on? The following, are you willing to relocate? Next, are you willing to travel after COVID-19? The following, tell me about an accomplishment you are the most proud of. And next, tell me a time you made a mistake. The following, what is your dream job? The following, how did you hear about this position? The following one, what would you look to accomplishment in the first 30 days or 16, 19 days on the job? The following, discuss your resume. The following, discuss your educational background. The following, describe yourself. Then, tell me how you handle a difficult situation. Then, why should we hire you? How should we hire you? The following, what are you looking for a new job? The following, would you work holidays or weekends? The following, how would you deal with an angry or irate customer? The following, what are your salary requirements? Here about the salary requirement. If you are not sure what constitutes a fair salary range and the compensation package, research the job title and the company. Continue with give a time when you went above and beyond the requirement for a project. The following, who are your competitors? The following, what was your biggest failure? The following, what motivates you? Then, what is your availability? The following, who is your mentor? Tell me about a time you disagree with your boss. The following, how do you handle pressure? The following, what is the name of our CEO? Next, what are your career goals? Next, what gets you up in the morning? The following, what are your career goals? Then what gets you up in the morning? Then what would your direct report says about you? The following. What were your boss's strengths and weaknesses? The following. If I called your boss right now and asked him or her what is an area that you could improve on, what would he or she say? Next, are you a reader or a follower? Next, what was the last book you have read for fun? The following. What are your coworker pet peeves? Then, what are your hobbies? The following. What is your favorite website? The next. What make you uncomfortable? Next. What are some